There we go. This has happened to me just once where it took forever. There we go. All right, so you're gonna go to joinpd.com, and in a second here, a code's gonna pop up. And you're just gonna type that code into your little window. It looks like it wants a space between the two X's, so make sure to put a space there. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I don't know how to type. Oh, no space. I had an I instead of an L. So LTXXSI. And when it pops up on my phone, it tells me I'm going to be Kiwi Bird. And it's going to ask me how I'm feeling today. Hi, Mr. Quinn.
Hello.
So, Mr. Quinn, you have the option of doing it on your phone. You can open a browser on your phone, or just open a browser on your computer, like have your Zoom showing in half of the screen and have a browser window. It's up to you. But you're gonna go to joinpd.com, and then you're gonna put in this code, LTXXSI. And I'm gonna start it, but you're gonna notice the code is gonna stay up in the corner. Okay, so if you have kids come in late, I usually throw the website into the chat box, and then the code continues to stay up on the screen.
Okay.
All right, let me see how many we got. I need 2 more people to connect. Does somebody have an issue connecting? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start class. Oh, we got everybody on there. Awesome. All right, and then I'm gonna navigate through, and you're gonna see on your phone a couple of questions. All right, so first question, how is online teaching going for you so far? So this is a draggable slide. So you're gonna see a blue dot on your screen, and you can drag it anywhere you want to kind of show how online teaching is going for you so far. All right, and you may notice down at the bottom, it kind of tells you how many of your kids have answered. So right now I'm at 10 of 11. And so I can actually click here, show response, and we can kind of see where we're all at, right? So it looks like we have somebody who's really struggling. Everybody's kind of and there's a couple of people who are like, woo, all right? Which pretty much sounds about reasonable. All right, so our next question, I want to know, what does a typical Zoom lesson look like in your class? Now, if you're on your phone and you turn it sideways, you can see the answer box right here. If your phone is like this, I have to click at the bottom, answer question, and it's going to bring up a text box for me. So just so you know what it looks like from the student angle. So are you lecturing? Do you have students replying in the chat? Like, what are you doing in a typical Zoom lesson? So I'm going to go ahead and click show responses so we can see. So 5 minutes, students are chatting, giving instructions, lectures with students answering chat or annotating. Okay, so everything is pre-recorded, so they're replying in chat. Nice. Lecturing, reminders, review of last class, intro of new content. Okay, lecturing, going over weekly instructions, a poll or a music, PowerPoints, asking questions, students type in answers. Okay, one-on-one, small group, sharing screens, going over lessons, speaking to a blank screen, right? A bunch of black boxes. That's how it is. All right. So right now I'm just showing you some of the tools that they have in PearDeck. So here, I'm going to turn my phone back this way. What's your favorite animal? Don't tell me. I want you to draw a picture and see if we can guess. So on your phone, you can actually just pick a color and use your finger to draw, or you can draw using your mouse pad. This looks like a coyote to me, but I'm gonna think it's a dog. So let me guess, cat or dog? This is cracking me up. Okay, I don't know what that is. I went ahead and put a helpful word on mine just to help you out because my cat looks like a ladybug with a tail. So one of the ways that I have used the drawing tool is if I want my kids to graph something, like if I want them to make a prediction on a graph, I can actually just put a screenshot of a graph in a slide and I say, make a prediction. And they can actually just draw a little graph that kind of shows me what they're thinking. Okay, but I didn't want to get really heavy into science content because we have a bunch of different people and I don't want you guys to walk away going, darn those science teachers, they're crazy. We are, by the way, for the record. All right, next question. Approximately how many hours do you work in a typical week? So I don't think we have any math teachers, but if you had a math problem and you wanted students to answer that, or in physics, if you wanted them to calculate something, you can give them a number, they can enter a number.
Miss Black,
Yes.
I'm having difficulty answering these questions, you know.
You're having difficulty because it's on your phone? Like, what's the difficulty?
It's in the computer, but I don't see where to answer the question. Might need to open this, the full screen maybe?
That probably would be useful, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry, let me go to, let me open it in a browser window here. Maybe. LTXXSI. LTXXSI. So, Miss Guetta, when I open it, I mean, I have my window pretty big. It has my answer box over on the side. And I can actually toggle through the numbers if I want to. Does that help?
Thank you, Miss Black.
You're welcome. All right, so let's see what we came up with. So it gives us a nice continuum. We can kind of look. I haven't used this one very much, so I don't know how we can. Melissa, have you used this one, this slide?
No, I haven't used this one yet.
All right, so I might have to work on this one. I haven't done number stuff yet, so I'm not really sure. But that's all right. It's an option. All right, last question. You can also do multiple choice. So what is your favorite type of snack? So at this point, you should have 4 options have popped up. So if I click, I'm going to exit out of this one here. If I click here, show responses, what do we see? We got sweet, we got salty. Uh-oh, some of you are cannibals, eating the souls of the problem children. The nice thing is as you're talking through it, like as you're talking through the questions, you can lock the screen. So I can say, oh, no more. You can't answer this question anymore. Now we're going to talk about it. Or you can leave it unlocked, and as you're talking, maybe you're not really giving the answer away, but as you're giving information, you can see where kids can change their answer. Okay, so they can kind of, as you're talking, they might be like, oh, right, I forgot about that. They may make a different decision. Okay, so you can actually see that kind of move on the screen, which is interesting. I'm gonna eat something sweet. So I can see that pop right up. Wait, no, I like salty. No, fruit. So you can see that change happening. So it might be something where you're like, I'm going to explain this a little bit, but I'm not going to give you the answer. I want you to rethink it. All right. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about how I've used it in science. If you embed a video, just something to know, the kids can see the slide on their device that they're doing PearDeck on, but they're not going to see the video. So like if I hit play on this video, no, I don't want that. Sorry, where's my play button? It's gonna take me. Apparently I copied the wrong slide, which is fine. But if I was to play this, it would play only my computer screen. It wouldn't play on your device. So when I did this, I had to tell the kids, hey, it plays. Melissa, tell me.
I found out how to make the videos play in PearDeck. Thanks, actually, Ms. Taylor found out and was sharing it with me. So there's another add-on that you have to do.
Okay.
PearDeck that allows video and audio to play for the students. And so when I was in Google Slides in my Google account, they gave me an option. It didn't work perfectly. I got one of my videos to play, but not the other one.
Okay.
When I was testing it. So it's still a work in progress, but there is something.
Okay, perfect. I'll look at that and then I'll send you guys an email letting you know exactly what that add-on is. All right. And I think I just copied the wrong slide with the video on it. I think that's why it doesn't want to play for me today, but that's fine. So after we watched the video, I asked them, to make observations. You don't have to answer this question, but we watched the video. We kind of talked through it. What did you notice? What do you wonder? And then I had the kids focus on the idea of patterns. So we watched it again, and then I had them identify what patterns did you observe in this video. So it's kind of a nice way of getting some feedback as you're kind of working through. One of the other things that we do in my AP class when I was done with my very first lesson, I threw this up there and I asked them to reflect. What did you like about today's lesson? What didn't you like? What worked for you? What didn't? And that was, for me, it was really useful because they had told me I had done something at the beginning that took a lot of time, and they were like, we don't want to waste our time doing that thing. Tell us ahead of time so we can have it done so we have more time in class. So that feedback for me was really useful because it hadn't occurred to me, and I was like, oh, right, I can do it that way. And then they really liked that their answers were anonymous because they felt like they could go ahead and put their answers out there and they weren't going to be judged for their answers. So that was really useful. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this PearDeck presentation, and you can save it. I have been saving them, but I haven't been posting them anywhere because I haven't quite gotten that far. So I'm just going to go ahead. Oops, I canceled instead of ending. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and end it. So once you have created your account in PearDeck, I'm going to move you guys out of my way here. To make that work in your Google Drive, mine's still loading here. You'll notice up here that I have PearDeck as one of my Google Slide options. When you have signed up, you're going to click on add-ons, And then you can search, get add-ons, and you can search for PearDeck, and that will actually add it into your Google Drive, right? So if I go to add-on, get add-ons, it's actually probably going to pop up because it's one of the more popular ones, and I can just click on it and install it. So once it's open, I can click on the PearDeck up here at the top, and it's going to open a little window on the side. Now, when I first started doing PearDeck, I thought my only options were their template library, and I was like, this isn't useful because I don't like it. But I figured out that you can actually make any of your slides a PearDeck slide. You can make a decision about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a new slide. Okay. And let's say that I just wanted to ask a question. Okay. If I just want to ask a question, whatever that question is, if I could type, that would be nice. Over here, where it says ask students a question, I can decide what type of answer. If I want a multiple choice, I can click here and it's going to say, okay, what are your choices? So I can type in the multiple choice answers I want to add. Okay. It's not going to ask me which one is the correct answer because it's not really a grading thing, right? It's just going to ask the kids to choose. If it's a question where I want them to type something out, then I'm going to click this text box. That's what you guys did when you told me about your Zoom class. So if I add a text question, they're just going to type out sentences, whatever it is that you want them to add. Okay. Notice at the bottom, it puts a little bar. You have to leave that in because that's how PearDeck knows what kind of slide it's going to be. So I can do a number. I can do a drawing, like if I want them to draw, like on the graph, or you can do a draggable, which is what you saw with the little blue dot. So any type of slide you make, you can make it a PearDeck slide with some sort of interactive piece into it. Now you can also use some of their pre-made slides. So up here where it says our template library, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And they actually have them broken down. You can do science ones, you can do social studies, you can do languages, you can do language arts. There's a lot of different things to explore. I like to do the beginning of lesson ones just to kind of get kids thinking about something, right? So I can ask them, think of a question. And if, let's say I pick this one, think of a question your classmates might have, but I don't actually want that question, right? I want to ask something different. So it's going to insert the slide and I can actually change the text, right? So I get the slide, I get the nice little graphic, but then I get to ask the specific question that I want. And if I look down here, it has lines, so it's telling me that this is a text question. And it also tells me that here, when I look on the slide, it's a text slide, okay? Now, if I, even if I wanted to pick this drawing slide, I can change it to text once I input it, and I can change the question. So there's a lot of different customizable things. So let's do a social studies. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so big questions, you can do facts or opinions, cause and effect. All right, so that should be really interesting. Look at sources. I mean, so you can totally take in one of these pre-made ones, or you can make your own slides. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but just one thing I've learned, when you are picking a slide from here, if you click on it, it's going to input it into your slide, which is really easy to delete. Sometimes I stick them in there just because I can't read the letters. They're too tiny. So I may click on this one just because I can't quite read what it says. And maybe I just want to change the wording around. Maybe it'll work for me. Right? How are you feeling? This would be a nice mid-lesson one, right? And it's a draggable one, so you pop it up there and a kid can say, oh yeah, I'm doing good. Oh yeah, I'm a little confused, right? So there's a lot of these little pieces to kind of get feedback on where your students are in the lesson. And they might be a little bit more inclined to answer those questions because, like I said, it's totally anonymous. All right, so how do we feel? I feel like I should put up a PearDeck slide. How are we feeling about PearDeck? What questions do we have? Sorry, I'm trying to get my chat box up. Nobody wants to answer?
Oh. Mhm.
Where are you asking us? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was saying, how do you feel about PearDeck? Like, do you have a question?
Oh, I was looking in the slide.
Oh,
I do, if nobody else does yet.
go for it.
So do you obviously use it during your Zoom, but do you post these as well, like in your modules?
So there is the option to do that. Like when I started it, it asked if you wanted to do an instructor-led activity or a student-led activity. I haven't done the student-led one yet. I know Erin Taylor has, but you can post it and then just have kids answer the questions. I'm just not sure how you would access their answers because I haven't tried it out yet. But it's definitely an option. So let me see here. I'm going to click Start Lesson again. And I'm going to say student-led. So student-paced. So they're doing it on their own. Let's see what it pops out with. My computer hates me today, apparently. So there's also the teacher dashboard, like you can run it on your iPad. I don't usually do that. I usually just stick with one screen. Okay, so you can assign it as homework, so you can copy the link and paste that link into your modules. And then you'll just have to play with it for that and see how it is you see the kids' questions. I'm not quite sure. I haven't played with it yet.
So Alexis, when I did that, I believe that you can go to your teacher dashboard and it saves it for you for the student paced ones. And you can go back to that specific lesson and look and see student responses. It won't tell you who,
right,
but it just tells you like how they progress through it and then gives you the answers that they put into each of the boxes.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. All right, what other questions do we have? Here's your chance.
Do
All right.
you just name these like you would any other like a PowerPoint presentation? You just name them because you do them ahead of time, obviously, right?
I do. So I use the same PowerPoint. So I have 3 biology classes. I use the same PowerPoint for each one. When I'm done with the first class, I name it global temperature discussion period 7. And then it saves it in my PearDeck account. But honestly, I don't go back because I look through all the answers as we're doing it. So I don't honestly go back and look at those. But let me log into my PearDeck real quick and let's see.
So if you used it for for 5th period, can you use it again 7th, or is it going to jumble up all the responses and kids are going to see 5th period response?
No, when I ended it, notice it asked me if I wanted to name it and I said no, but I can name it and it will save it separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you just play that, in your modules or in your lessons, as a PowerPoint.
So I do it basically like I did it with you guys. I have my kids log in, everybody gets in, and then I go ahead and start the PearDeck presentation and have them all join on their phones. And we run through like a regular class, like when I'm teaching in my Zoom, and then I'm asking them questions periodically throughout the class. But I know that there are some people who have set it up to where they can do it on their own, like walk through it. And you can also record audio. I don't know if I showed you guys that. Let me go back. So if I want to put my words, I can add audio to the slide. So I can actually talk in the slide. So when I give them the link, oops, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. When I give them the link to this presentation, they can actually hear me talking on the slide that I want to add my talking on. Let me go back and let me see here. So I'm in there. So yeah, so here's my, I've been playing around with them. global temperature discussions. So here's all of mine, all of the ones that I've done for past, looking for sessions. Oh, there we go. So here they all are. And you can see I've named them honors biology, 4th period, global temperature. So it kind of breaks it down for you. So I imagine, well, if you have one that is student-led, it's going to pop up in here too when they're done. You can actually go in and look at it. But like Melissa said, it's not going to have their names, but it'll at least give you an idea of what they're saying during the presentation. All right, awesome questions. What other questions do we have?
I have a question. Can you show us how to put in a question one more time? Because I've tried using PearDeck before and I had a lot of trouble with that.
No problem. So let me go ahead and I'm going to make a new slide. And what type of question would you like? Okay, so if I ask what type of dog do you have, I can come over here. I'm going to move you guys out of my way. And I can just put, I can select text. If I just want them to answer the question, like tell me a beagle, I can just click that and it's automatically going to make it. It's thinking about it. And now it's a PearDeck slide where they're going to answer in a text. Okay, if I want to know how many dogs you have, then I would click over here and I would click number. So it's going to change it from a text to a number. So now it's a number that they enter. So I can ask any question, and then this one, I can just pick what kind of slide I want that to be. Does that help?
Thank you. I guess it's because you know how you said the little pair at the bottom, so that is just confirmation that they worked. That's the only confirmation. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. That helps.
And I usually make them, and then I'll actually run through it on my computer and do it on my phone to make sure everything looks the way I want it to look before I run it. All right, so how are we feeling? We're feeling all right? Thumbs up, thumb sideways, middle finger down. No, I'm just kidding. Thumb down. So the science department, you can get a free account with PearDeck. There are some limitations. But if you sign up with your school email, I believe they're giving 80 days free trial. Honestly, if it's something that you really want to use and you feel that you need the premium account, I would not hesitate to advocate to Frost to pay for it. It's $150 a year for the premium account, but considering how much we're doing at home and not using resources at school, I feel like this is something you could advocate for yourself to get and have him pay for. Especially if there's a bunch of us that want it, we can probably get a little bit of a lower price. I think they have a school price for that. But you know, we're not using supplies at school. We're not using pencils. We're not doing any of that stuff. So I don't feel like asking for $150 is that big of a deal at this point in time. That's just how I feel about it, because I know all of us are really working hard to try to make this useful. So, but you can do it for free. I think it just limits how many sessions you can have at one time. Like you may need to delete some to make new ones. Did you have a question, Stephanie? Okay. All right, guys, I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes. So that was a 30-minute chunk of PearDeck. If you have questions, I'm willing to hang out and answer those. Otherwise, thank you for showing up. You guys are amazing. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Way
you.
better
Thank you.
than the poll. I think this will be way better than the poll.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so leave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. That was really good.
Thanks.
Oh,
I didn't plan very much. Like, I was like, well, I'll do this and then I'll kind of like make it up as I go along.
it went really, really well. I think so. I think that was super helpful.
All right, good. I hope more people can use it because like when I'm reading their answers, they're just lecturing. Like how boring is that? Like how can we do better? If I was in a class where all my Zooms were just lecture, I would not show up.
I wouldn't either.
Because you can watch the video on 1.5 and still get the same thing, but in way less time.
Mhm. Agreed. Awesome. Okay. Well, check that off your box. That was good.
Yep. Next week, I think I'm going to take David's Google embedding Google one. Because I'm not teaching next week, and then I do Jamboard the week after that.
Okay. That would be good. That'll be really good. Yeah,
Oh.
I need embedding Google.
So I changed it. What do you think?
Are you still recording?
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Before I say something.